When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-513-6154. That's 1-800-513-6154. Again, 1-800-513-6154. Call now.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
The wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome to
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world on the Internet, we're coming to you live from the CCRS studios. WNJC 1360. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with your host, Rick Trader. The Conservative Commandos radio show, where the newsmakers go to be heard.
Businessman there, drink my wine.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody, and welcome, fellow patriots. Welcome once again to the Conservative Commandos Radio Show. And we're coming to you live from the studios of the Conservative Commandos Radio Network, WNJC 1360, our flagship station in Philadelphia, as well as around the world on the Internet with CPR Worldwide Media, Leading Edge Radio Network, TalkStream Live, The Pun and Press, SHR Media, K98 Talk, iHeartRadio, Roar Radio, AM, FM 24/7, and our newest affiliate, Rebooting Liberty Radio Network. And joining me today as my co-host is not Kenneth McClinton today, but it is Sharon Engel. Sharon, welcome to Conservative Commandos Radio Show.
Thank you so much, Rick, and it's great to be here not only on a wonderful Wednesday this week, but on a fabulous Friday with you.
Well, indeed, it is fabulous. It's great to work with you again. Sharon, it's a beautiful day, another beautiful day here on the East Coast. It's in the 70s. It's warm out. In fact, for today being November 6th, I again came to the studio in short pants and T-shirt. And I would like to thank global warming for this. I mean, this is wonderful. In my opinion, it could stay this way up till about December the 5th or so. Then the weather, then let's have some snow, get us in the Christmas season mood. But this is great. This is wonderful. And just think of all the money that has been saved by all the people, because you don't need to have your heat on. You don't need to have your air conditioning on. This is beautiful weather. So bring on global warming. Bring it on.
Bring it on. Well, you know, it's been in the news again, global warming. It's scandalous, and people are starting to really talk about it more. They're beginning to investigate. Exxon's investigated for climate crimes. You know, if you're following Drudge, it just interesting. Congressman demands a climate study documents as scientists warn of chilling effects. So now they're saying, you know, where are your facts? Where are your facts? If you've got it,
that would be nice
to know.
Facts are a good thing. Here's a fact for you, Sharon. Here's a wonderful fact for you. It's not the first time that I've mentioned it here, but over the last 100,000 years, there have been 4 ice ages where North America was covered with a sheet of ice and someplace 2 miles thick. I mean, 4 different ice ages. What happened to all that ice, Sharon? I mean, the globe isn't constant climate change. 6,000-7,000 years ago, there was no Sahara Desert. It was all green and lush. What happened to all that green and lush stuff? Where'd this desert come from? Has something to do with climate change, Sharon. But it's always been that way. It always will be. And nothing that man will ever do will ever change it.
Well, and it seems like Representative Lamar Smith out of Texas is the one that's saying, come on, Noah, put up or shut up. We need to have facts. We need what you're doing is a form of intimidation. You think? I mean, they keep, and it is intimidating, isn't it? The way that they say, well, these are the causes, so we're going to regulate these businesses. Now every business is on alert that they could get some kind of a regulation thrown at them based on, what is this, bogus science. And of course that's where the congressman's coming from. And he also is pointing out that it's not just businesses that can be intimidated by this, but you and I as citizens, we walk outside and maybe we're doing something that someone objects to, and now we're somehow in the climate change thing, or maybe we get back in the carbon thing with the way that they do automobiles. Remember a while back when Obama was wanting to do his famous testing on our cars, so that the emissions testing, so that we couldn't have the cars that we wanted to drive. So it affects our lives, and I think it's great that the congressman is running full steam ahead, saying, "Give us the facts, give us the facts." And of course, the other story was that ExxonMobil is a determined company that has. They say they've lied to the public about the risks of climate change, and so now they're going into what's going on in these big corporations. Are they lying to us or not? But maybe it's just intimidation, as the congressman said.
Well, Sharon, if anybody has lied about climate change, it's been the liberal base of the Democrat Party and all these nutwhack jobs out there. I'll call them nutwhack jobs out there who say that mankind is changing the climate of the planet. We are not. We are not. We are incapable of doing so. I don't care if you burnt every piece of coal, every drop of oil, every ounce of gas. We would never, never, never be able to change the climate of the planet. I'll tell you what would. A nuclear war. That would change the climate of the planet. And again, because of Democrats and because of liberals, we are closer to that than at any time in the last 40 years. Thank you, Barack Obama, for that. That would certainly change the climate of the planet. Nuclear war.
And you're exactly right to name the conflict. I don't think anyone disagrees the climate does change. I mean, we've watched climate change over the past 10 years. Some years we have cold winters. You're experiencing a warm Indian summer right now. That's a climate change. But did you or I cause that by driving our SUV?
No.
Not hardly.
No.
Did the rancher out here in the West with all of his cows, did he change the climate because of those cows just doing what cows do? That's the ludicrous part of this, is that they're blaming people for it. And as you point out, it would take something fairly catastrophic to happen as far as people changing the climate, like as you pointed out, something like a nuclear explosion. And I think that that has been some of the fear when we've had these problematic things that have happened with like Chernobyl and the other nuclear nuclear energy places that have had leaks and things like that and spills, is that there may be a change to the globe.
Well, when you look at Chernobyl, look at the Fukushima nuclear power plant that was affected by the tsunami a couple years ago, where you've had nuclear accidents. I guess they're the two biggest. 3 Mile Island. None of those events has changed world temperature, world climate, world weather. Hasn't happened. It would take as I said, in my opinion, it would take a nuclear war. It would take multiple nuclear weapons going off around the world to cause climate change, a climate catastrophe. But
right.
I've seen.
We just don't know exactly what's going to cause that. But
no.
Have they ever done any studies on the climate change that was caused by the 2 atomic bombs that were dropped in World War II? Or all of the testing that was done at Area 51 in Nevada? I've never seen those kinds of studies. And certainly, especially on the test range, they were taking atmospheric pressures and all kinds of things while they were doing all that testing, underground and above ground testing in the 50s and 40s. So we should have that out there. If there was going to be some kind of a change caused by men, shouldn't we already know it? Shouldn't we already know that? Because we've stopped doing some of the things, as you point out, that could cause those changes. And did it cause it? I don't think so. I don't know. But I think that there are ways that we could find that out, Rick. And instead of that, what they're doing is fear-mongering one more time. And as you point out, there is a problem with truth on the left side, and they've proven that with their presidential candidate. Her lies about Benghazi, and she's been caught in those lies. That's what's incredible to me, is that they didn't pound harder on that she told Chelsea it's an Al-Qaeda attack. Then she goes on television nationwide and said it's a video. Rice goes on and says it's a video. Obama says it's a video. And then she turns around the next day and tells the Egyptian prime minister, no, we know it was an Al-Qaeda attack. Talk about lie upon lie. And yet no one is calling her out for this. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like we're just going to go ahead and allow these things to go on and on and on. And that's why you and I here and all of our hosts on Conservative Commando's radio show want to make sure that people are aware that we're not going to take this business as usual. We're going to call them on these things.
As we should, and as we need to do. We're with the liberals right now, Sharon. This is the whole idea of climate change, this whole idea of socialism, the whole idea of a transgender society. Can go in any bathroom you want, regardless of who else is in it. I mean, we and our way of life are under a severe attack right now. So we are in a warfare. Well, Sharon, we will take our first break. You are listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharon Engel and Rick Trader, coming to you from the studios of the Conservative Commandos radio network, WNJC 1360 in Philadelphia, and around the world on the internet with CPR Worldwide Media, Leading Edge Radio Network, TalkStream Live, The Pun and Press, SHR Media, K98 Talk, iHeartRadio, Roar Radio, AM, FM 24/7, and our newest affiliate, Rebooting Liberty Radio Network. Don't go away, Sharon and I'll be right back.
I really don't care. That's my prerogative. They say I'm nasty, but I...
The Conservative Commandos radio show is expanding to become the Conservative Commandos radio network. We are establishing a front line of conservative radio broadcasters and ironclad patriots to declare war against the madness of liberalism and the Obama administration. Are you tired of the disregard for our Constitution? Do you still have faith in the American dream? Are you looking for sensible, smart radio? If so, listen to the Conservative Commandos Radio Network every weekday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on WNJC Radio, 1360 on your AM dial, or around the world on the internet at WNJCradio.com. Check out our website, ccrsnetwork.com, for rebroadcasts and network updates. We are the Conservative Commandos Radio Network, where now even more newsmakers go to be heard.
Hi, this is Bob Vide, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando radio show.
Welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharon Engel and yours truly, Rick Trader. And for rebroadcasts of our shows, please check out our websites, ccrshow.com or ccrsnetwork.com, or mornings at 9 a.m. Log on to leadingedgeradionetwork.com. 1 p.m. log on to roarradio.net, or at 6 p.m. it is thepunditpress.com. You could also hear our show from your telephone, just like I did yesterday, by calling 832-999-1199. You don't need an app. You don't need to download anything. You just need to remember the number, write it down, and then call it 832-999-1199. In fact, you can try it right now if you'd like. So, Sharon, before we get into other things, why don't we go over our guest list today?
Certainly. I have the pleasure of introducing at 3:35 Reverend David Welsh, the Executive Director of the U.S. Pastors Council, Houston Area Pastors Council, that was founded in 2003 by a group of 13 pastors as a trans-denominational, interracial coalition of senior pastors who came together to bring a united biblical voice to the city, state, and even the nation. We're going to be talking to Pastor Welsh about the bathroom ordinance that was soundly defeated in Texas on Tuesday, and he's going to tell us what the big deal is there. Why should we be so concerned about an ordinance like this in the first place, and how were they able to defeat it in Texas? Because we've been unsuccessful here in the West. As you know, it's the law of the land in both California and Nevada now. So it will be very interesting to talk with the Reverend about the defeat that they were able to secure in Texas this week. And then at 4:05, we're going to be talking to Gerald Lamero. Dr. Lamero was the founder and CEO of Lamero Economics, a company focused on bringing practical economic knowledge about freedom, economic growth, and prosperity to America and the world. And Dr. Lamero is a frequent and popular talk radio show guest. He's an expert in economic growth and computer modeling. And we're going to be talking to him about Carson ahead of Trump. What's next? Of course, there is a bit of a lie going out from the press about Dr. Ben Carson. So this will be very interesting to our listeners today to talk about the little teeter-totter that seems to be going on between Carson in the lead and then Trump in the lead and then Carson back in the lead, and really what's causing them to be at the head of the pack.
Mm-hmm. All right. And at 4:35, I'll be speaking with Devin Herrick. He is an expert on 21st century medicine, including the evolution of internet-based medicine. Wonder what that is. Consumer-driven healthcare and key changes in the global health market. And he's going to be joining us to discuss the collapsing Obamacare co-ops. Big changes to come. So that'll be Devin Herrick at 4:35.
Well, I think it's a great show coming up, so we'll just encourage our listeners to stay tuned for the next hour and a half, because we'll be talking about issues that are important in all of our lives.
And that's what we try to do here on Conservative Commando's radio show, Sharon. We do try to talk about the issues that people are talking about and want to know about. So what else is on your radar screen today?
I was just going to go there with you. Yesterday we had a press conference here in Nevada rolling out a coalition that I put together, rolling out an initiative to amend our Constitution. And the amendment is called the Pupil Information Privacy Protection Act. Pupil Information Privacy Protection Act, or PIPA, as we're calling it for short. But what it really says is that the pupil or student's personally identifiable information, that means things like their Social Security number, their age, their mother's maiden name, all those things that make for us an identification that's only ours, should belong to them. And they should be proactively asked whether it can be used. Any of that information can be used outside their local school district, or sold for any kind of use outside their local school district. So we're really striking at the heart of some of this data mining that's going on in our schools right now, and is so concerning to parents, because it's not just your test scores anymore. It's things like behavior, and it's things like how do you do as far as academics versus a trade. It's trying to push our children into some of these molds that we don't really necessarily want them pushed into, because things change. I changed my mind about what I was going to be when I grew up, and I certainly don't want all kinds of things following me along in a track where my potential employer might say, well, according to this data that we have on you, you're just really, your aptitude is not here, even though you're probably smart enough to, It's just those kinds of things that we don't want to have going forward unless we give our permission to do that. So that's what we're doing in Nevada, and it truly is a protection for public school students, for private school students, and homeschooling students. And the Homeschooling Association nationally has picked up on this, and they said this is cutting-edge legislation. Do you mind if we spread it around?
So that's wonderful.
It may be something that other states want to pick up on and say, as this internet society, as this information sharing society, as this social networking society that we belong to now increases in the availability of information, isn't it time that we go first and say, wait a second, as far as our kids are concerned, you can't just use their information indiscriminately. We need to have control of that and be able to give permission for you to do that before you do. And we've put a penalty on it, Rick. We think this is akin to identification theft. Mm-hmm. And so the penalty for giving out a student's identification without their permission or the permission of their parent is the same as if you were to steal their identification. And so it's pretty hefty fine and some jail time.
Sharon, I am surprised how lax people are with their identification. I really am. And it's just about everywhere you go these days and do any kind of business, we're made to show some sort of identification, except for voting. Gee, I wonder why that is. But, and I've mentioned this story before, and I don't know if I mentioned it while you were co-hosting, Sharon, but a couple of months ago, my wife and I went to check into a hotel room that we pre-booked and prepaid for. And they wanted identification, so I showed my passport. And this hotel would not accept my passport as identification. Now, my passport had my name and my picture in it, as all passports do, but they refused. They wanted to see my driver's license. Well, you know what, Sharon? There's two pieces of information, and I'll tell our listeners right now, don't ever give out these two pieces of information. Don't ever give out your Social Security number. Don't give out your driver's license number. Don't show anybody your driver's license, because on there is information you don't want anyone that you don't know to have that information. It's got your name, your address, your date of birth on there, your height, your weight, your eye color. Don't give it out. Somebody asked for it, don't give it to them. Somebody asked for your social. The other day, I called a company, and I'll have to make this quick because we're about to go to break. I called a company to pay a bill. Well, to pay the bill, they wanted my Social Security number. I says, you don't need my Social Security number. I'll give you my account number. You've got my credit card record on file. I'm not giving you my credit card, my Social Security number. You don't need it for me to pay a bill.
And it's actually illegal for them to ask for it. It is not identification. That is the law.
Hey, Sharon, I'll give you the last word on that, because we are going to a break, and you are listening to the Conservative Commandos radio show with Sharon Engel and Rick Trader. We're coming to you from the studios of the Conservative Commandos Radio Network, WNJC 1360, our flagship station in Philadelphia, and around the world on the internet with CPR Worldwide Media, Leading Edge Radio Network, TalkStream Live, The Pundit Press, SHR Media, K98 Talk, iHeartRadio, Rural Radio, AM, FM 24/7, and now rebooting Liberty Radio Network. Don't go away. Sharon and I will be right back with our guest, Reverend Dave Welsh.
You've heard Paul Delks playing the music on the Your Music Matters morning show. He is also an experienced mortgage loan officer working for U.S. Mortgage Corporation and assists homeowners navigate the reverse mortgage process. If you are finding yourself asking questions whether or not you set aside enough for retirement, Paul can sit down with you, your family, and your financial advisor and discuss how a reverse mortgage may be a valuable resource for your retirement plan. You will be responsible for paying your taxes and insurance, and the reverse mortgage can help with this and other expenses, such as home health care or other untimely bills. Put Paul's 20-plus years of experience to work for you, as choosing the right option for your situation can be critical. Call Paul at U.S. Mortgage Corporation at 877-213-9977. That's 877-213-9977. Or go to seniormatters.info for more information. U.S. Mortgage Corporation is a licensed mortgage banker in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, and an equal housing lender. NMLS number 3901. U.S. Mortgage Corporation is located at 201 Old Country Road, Suite 140, Melville, New York, 11747. This advertisement applies to first lien mortgages. Paul E. Dilks, NMLS is 485904.
Hi, this is Bob Vine, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Biden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glasper, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittle.sportshop.com.
What does it take to be the leader in production systems technology? To be the one company that solves production problems at any plant, for any product, and with any technology? It takes a 30-year record of success. It takes total mastery of complex technologies with a history of delivering success every time, without fail. Only one company can claim that high ground in manufacturing line optimization, data automation, and systems integration, and that's Philadelphia Control Systems. In factories worldwide, Philadelphia Control Systems programs, software, and engineering solutions deliver optimal performance and output flow with a record that can't be matched. Any plant, any product, any technology. Philadelphia Control Systems, the leader in production automation since 1982. 800-335-9811. PCS4automation.com. That's PCS, the number 4, automation.com.
The Conservative Commandos radio show is expanding to become the Conservative Commandos Radio Network. We're establishing a front line of conservative radio broadcasters and ironclad patriots to declare war against the madness of liberalism and the Obama administration. Are you tired, as I am, about the disregard for our Constitution? Do you still have faith in the American dream? Are you looking for sensible, smart radio? If so, listen to the Conservative Commandos Radio Network every weekday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on WNJC Radio 1360 a.m. or around the world on the internet at WNJCradio.com. Check out our websites, ConservativeCommandosRadioNetwork.com and CCRN.com for rebroadcasts and network updates. We are the Conservative Commandos Radio Network, where even more newsmakers go to be heard.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stocking. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world on the internet. We're coming to you live from the CCRS studios, WNJC 1360. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with your host, Rick Trader. The Conservative Commandos radio show, where the newsmakers go to be heard. You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando radio show.
Welcome back, listeners. On this fabulous Friday, you are listening to Conservative Commando's radio show. And if you'd like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show, please check out our website, ccrsnetwork.com and ccrshow.com. Or mornings at 9 a.m., you can log on to leadingedgeradionetwork.com, or at 1 p.m., you can log on to rawradio.net, or at 6 p.m., you can log on to thepunditpress.com. And now you can listen to the Conservative Commandos from any phone by calling 832-999-1199. This is Sharon Angle. I'm here with my co-host, Rick Trader. And we've got our first guest, Rick. He's the Reverend David Welch, the Executive Director of the U.S. Pastors Council, Houston Area Pastor Council, which was founded in 2003 by a group of 13 pastors as a trans-denominational, interracial coalition of senior pastors who came together to bring united biblical voice to the city, state, and even the nation. They've grown to over 200 senior pastors in the greater Houston area, as well as assisted in developing pastors' councils in Austin, Beaumont, Sacramento, Virginia Beach, and other cities around the country, birthing the identity of U.S. Pastors Council and Texas Pastors Council to connect those teams of pastors. Reverend David Welch, welcome to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Great to be with you.
Well, it's our pleasure, Pastor, and we asked you to come on to talk about actually a victory. Sometimes all we can do is complain and think, oh my goodness, the country is doomed. But this Tuesday, we had a victory in Texas. And I want you to talk about that victory, and then I want to talk about the role that your group played in that victory.
Well, what happened on Tuesday was an ordinance that had originally been passed by the Houston City Council at the behest of our lesbian mayor that imposed an entirely new layer of bureaucracy over the city under non-discrimination protections that included sexual orientation and gender identity, was defeated at the polls by the people by a 61-39 margin after what really was an 18-month-long battle that began at City Council at Houston last spring and went all the way through to gathering signatures on the streets, a year in court, and finally to the ballot. And it was a resounding victory and one that we're very, very pleased with.
And how was your Pastors Council? Were you the lead on that, or were you just part of the coalition that came together to defeat this? How did that really work? Tell our listeners, because I know it's coming to a town near you and a state near you, and they want to know how to defeat this.
Well, you're exactly right, and I guess the Pastor Council was, I can explain it as sort of the hub of the wheel, because we have been there building this team of pastors for over a decade. It's very diverse, ethnically, denominationally, but very united in our core values of a biblical worldview. And so we've been on the ground, taken on other issues, but this was an hour in which we had to reach out, stretch out. We coalitioned with other ministerial groups around the city, denominational groups, and just connected everybody to work together and move forward. And it was a great example that, in fact, it can be done. And we had our African-American pastors on point from day one, leading civil rights leaders of the city, part of the team, and all literally from beginning to end. And that our African-American parts of the city actually voted in a higher percentage against the ordinance by an average of 72% than the rest of the community. So it was a great illustration of what happens when all parts of the church come together, starting with the pulpits.
Well, and what you've proven really is that you can increase the voter involvement if they're informed, and that information coming from a pastor who is trusted, who tells the truth, who preaches the truth, can actually be a part of that voter involvement.
Yes, absolutely. I can truly say, and like I said, I've been in this arena of ministry for 30 years, worked all over the country with local grassroots as well as national organizations here in Houston for 16 years, and this is the most I've seen from more churches than before. Our churches really rose up. I mean, Ed Young and Second Baptist Church was magnificent. very vocal and visible, like I said, to our strong African-American churches and leaders and groups, so that Hispanic community and key leaders, and Asian. So, again, we've told folks this is what the body's, and this is what we're supposed to do. And, you know, and I will say this, you know, look, we wouldn't have had to do this if we'd have done our work to begin with and elected the right people to city council and mayor. That's far better than fighting an 18-month-long battle.
You're exactly right, and we have an opportunity now in 2016 to make some right choices based on our values in a presidential election and in federal elections for congressmen and senators, all the way down through our state legislators and, as you point out, our city councils and our school boards. And are you involved at every level, or are you mostly involved right there at the local level?
Well, we've been involved here at the local level and as well as statewide in Texas. We do have teams of pastors in other cities, and we work very hard at the legislative level as well. And like I said, we've helped them as other pastors have reached out to us and, hey, we want to do that here. They've helped provide some guidance and support on helping pastors organize. But we're kind of expanding that process now. But our real objective initially was just to show a model of how to organize pastors. We had most of our national conservative organizations had either given up or bypassed pastors to our own detriment, and the churches just weren't engaged. We've shown that the pastors will step up, and when the pastors leave, it's an art